buenos días. At this stage, you have completado the first chapter, but you haven't done the last bit, which is the exercises, los ejercicios, and that little bit of extra información. So we're going to do that now. It's a good way to round up what you've learned over the course of the last 5 clases de español. The first thing that it has is Rincón, lovely word, Rincón cultural. It's on page 15, página 15, and it's all about los apellidos, and that means surnames. So have a read of that, pause the video and do that now. Bien, los apellidos en la cultura hispánica, you get your dad's apellido, el apellido del padre, and then el apellido de la madre, and the one from the madre drops off the end. But I have a challenge for you. What happens, you'll need to use the internet for this, what happens to a woman's surname when she gets married en la cultura hispánica? Look it up. And I like to look things up on Wiktionary because you can look them up en inglés and then switch your language to español and see if you can understand, entender el texto. The next thing is about buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. We're still in el Rincón cultural, and what they're saying is afternoon starts after lunch. And lunch, for your interest, is el almuerzo. And I like to think it's like a little morsel. In fact, it's more than that. It's a big meal, but almuerzo sounds like a morsel, so that can help you to remember the word for lunch is almuerzo. And we say buenas tardes after almuerzo, not after 12 noon. Listen to Radio 5, Radio Nacional de España. You can find it by looking for RTVE and choosing radio, and then choosing Radio 5. That's talk radio. It's a good estación de radio, and you can listen out for when people say buenos días, when people say buenas tardes, and when los presentadores and the guests say buenas noches. Bien, the next thing is autoevaluación. So, self-assessment. And that's about being able to do these things. So, can you translate, I'm called Bob, what are you called, do you have children? I don't need to read the list. La lista es aquí para ti, for you. Make sure that you can do all of those things. And go to spanglishfantastico.com so that you can check yourself. Bien. Next up is Vocabulario en casa, and it's all the step relations. So your stepfather is your padrastro, and stepmother, madrastra. Difficult to say, but try them. Es posible que en tu familia y en tus amigos you don't have any madrastras or hijastras or hermanastros, but other people do. Y es importante to be able to conversar about la familia. Es importantísimo. So learn those words. The next thing is los verbos, la gramática y ejercicios. I love the word ejercicios. It means exercises, of course. And in parts of España, the C I sound gets a lisp. The CE, the CI and the Z. I don't lisp because I learned to speak Espanol in Peru and they don't lisp. They don't lisp in America Latina and they don't lisp in partes de España. If you want to lisp, then you would say ejercicio, which I think sounds great. So it's up to you. CI, CE and Z lisp. S doesn't. Ejercicio. But for me, ejercicio. The first thing that I want to concentrate is on the left-hand side of the column. You have the pronouns. Now, the pronouns are actually on the next page, 16. So let's have a look at página 16, at those pronouns. I want you to learn them. Yo is I. Tú, él, ella, usted. Nosotros, vosotros. Ellos, ellas, ustedes. And if you can learn them as a little chant, these words are importante. They are not included all the time. They're included for emphasis, so they come up about 30% of the time. I am, normalmente, is just soy. That's the word for I am. But 30% of the time it would be yo soy. These words are importantes, so you need to, well, let's try it. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted. Nosotros, vosotros, ellas, ellas, oh, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Otra vez, again. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted. Nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes. You need to be able to chant them. Okay, so that's something that I would like you to learn. De memoria. Back to página 15, we have the verb to be. And this is another thing that I would like you to learn de memoria. So we have soy, eres, SSS. Now, why did I say SSS? Because he is LS. She is ella es. And you are, formally speaking, is usted es. So I'm saying SSS. The plural ones, somos, nosotros somos, sois, vosotros sois, son, ellos son, ellas son, ustedes son. So again, I would like you to learn that lista de memoria, at least so you can do it with the book shut once, okay? So if you can shut the book and not look at it and be able to say, soy, eres, SSS, somos, sois, son, then you can move on. And when we're moving on to the verb tener, which is to have. Okay, so tener, it's not here, it's not completely here, but it is on page 245. So have a look there and you'll find. You have yo tengo, I have. Tú tienes, you have, or do you have? Él tiene, he has, or does he have? Ella tiene, she has. Usted tiene, you have, formally. And then we have nosotros tenemos, we have. Vosotros tenéis. Now that vosotros is informal, but it's a plural you. So you have, but it's plural. It's two or more people, and it's informal. Vosotros tenéis. Ellos, they, ellos tienen. And that ellos tienen is they have when it's all men or a mixed group. Ellas tienen is they have when it's exclusivamente female. Ellas tienen. So that's a lot less common. And then ustedes. You get that? Ustedes tienen is you have when it's formal and it's more than one person. So it could be ladies and gentlemen, or it could just be a formal couple of people. Ustedes tienen. Ustedes tienen hijos. Do you have children? Bien. And finalmente, back to página 15, page 15, you have llamarse. It's funny because we've got arse on the end, ha ha ha, and it means to be called. So, llamarse. Yo me llamo Bob. I'm called Bob. Tú te llamas Bob. Are you called Bob? Tú te llamas Bob. Él se llama Bob. He's called Bob. Ella se llama Bob. She's called Bob. I'm sticking with Bob. Usted se llama Bob. Are you called Bob? Now it says go to page 245 for the plurals. We can do that if you want to, for the sake of completion, to get la lista completa. So 245, página 245. I think it's, 245. And we are called Bob. Maybe it's a band, a group. Nosotros nos llamamos Bob. You're called Bob when it's a group and it's informal. Vosotros os llamáis Bob. And they are called Bob. Ellos se llaman Bob. So that one is importante because when you're saying, do you have children? ¿Tienes hijos? Sí. Tengo dos hijos. Yes, I have 2 children. Then your question is, ¿cómo se llaman? ¿Cómo se llaman? What are they called? And ¿cómo se llaman works whether it's ellos, ellas, or if it was ustedes, ¿cómo se llaman ustedes? That wouldn't be so common. Bien. What I think you should do with those verbos is become familiar with them. La gramática es importante. It will help you. It will make you feel more comfortable with Español. So use your mobile phone, download the app that's called Quizlet. That's the one that I like. Yo recomiendo Quizlet. I use it to estudiar lenguajes. And I would like you to input all of those words. So we've got the pronouns yo, tú, él, ella, usted, and the plural ones. We've got the verb to be, which is soy, eres, es, somos, sois, son. We've got the verb tener, tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, we'll do here, tenemos, tenéis, tienen. And the llamarse, so yo me llamo Bob, all the way to ustedes se llaman Bob. So I would like you to input all of that into Quizlet so that you can play with it. The app will help you test yourself, help you play different games. Con el vocabulario, it takes un poco de tiempo, but that is how learning a language works. It takes un poco de tiempo. Bien? Okay. Next thing is on página 16, they talk about masculino y femenino. Now it says generalmente most masculine nouns end in O. Libro means book. Most words that end in a are feminine. Casa means house, and that's feminine. A libro is masculine. But this doesn't always work. So the word for day is dia, and that's masculine, and it ends in an A. So it doesn't always work. It's a rule of thumb. It's general. It's not absolute. And then we have tarde and noche. They're both feminine. And that's why we have buenos días with an O, buenos días, because that's masculine, and buenos has agreed with the días. Whereas we have buenas tardes, because buenas agrees with tardes, it's feminine, so it gets an buenas gets an A, and buenas noches, that's got an buenas with an A, buenas noches, that's A because noche is feminine. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is look over to the bottom of la página 16 and completar ejercicio A. Pause the video and do that now. Bien. So still on página 16, if you have completed the exercise, el ejercicio, you can check in your answer booklet that you are all correcto, and I'm sure you are. It's nice and easy. We've been reading about masculine and feminine nouns. We have camarero, camarera, waiter and waitress, gato and gata, so a male and a female. Cat, un gato is a cat, not a cake, un gato. And we have some nouns like recepcionista that are masculine or feminine, or estudiante, masculine or feminine, with these rules that are written down here in the masculine and feminine on page 16. In mi opinion, it's nice to have a vague awareness of them, but just lo importante es comunicación, and that can be inhibited by trying to remember rules like this. So just have a go. Mi mensaje is just have a go. Okay, now you've read that whole section, I'd like you to try ejercicio B and F. B and F, B and F. So pause the video and completar ejercicios B y F. Do that now. Bien. Check your answers in the answer booklet, and let's read about el artículo definido. Now, I was laughing about llamarse because it's got arse on the end. I could also laugh about artículo because culo means your bottom, your rear end. But it's a rude word, so be careful. Es grosero. That's the word for a rude word. Es grosero. Culo es grosero. Grosero. El artículo definido is the definite article. That means the. That's just the grammar word for the. Y en español, as you read at the bottom of page 16, there are 4 words for the. The son, the daughter, the sons, the daughters. Different words for the. Okay? El, la, los, las. Could you use that information to completar ejercicio G? Hey. Pause the video and do that now. Check your answers in the answer book. Whenever you get a mixed group, like madre y padre, you're going to use the masculine form of the word. So madre and padre would be los because it's mixed. Okay? Vale? Bien. The next is, pardon, words like my, me. So me is mi, and if you're talking about something that you have more than one of, mis. Okay, so mis hermanos. Mis hermanos se llaman Ian y Jamie. Okay? Then we have de, which is possessivo. So we don't say Anna's father, we say el padre de Anna. Okay, so I don't think it's difficult. I think you can do that. El padre de Anna. If you have the activities book, there's a nice exercise. This is the activities book. That's an old copy, but the new copy is available, of course. And then you can have that exercise in there for Unit 1 that asks you to translate sentences like the son of my father is my brother. Okay. El hijo de mi padre es mi hermano. O mi medio hermano, posiblemente. Okay, bien. And then we're reading about plurales. I've got a hair in my mouth. Plurales. Es o es. No es difícil. We always start con errores. When you're learning to walk as a baby, you fall down. Comenzamos con errores. Lo importante is do not give yourself negative self-talk for making errors. Don't tell yourself that you are estúpido because you made a mistake. You're not. You made a mistake because you're learning. Okay, so if you say if you get the s or es wrong, no importa. Okay. Then I think we need to try exercise D and complete the rest of the exercises, and then finalmente, perdón, el vocabulario. So putting in all this vocabulario to Quizlet would take me about half an hour, 30 minutos, 30 minutes, media hora. And then it would take me another hour, una hora, to play with it and to go through Quizlet with the learn part of the app and get to know ese vocabulario. Just looking at the vocabulario does not work for me. Yo recomiendo que tú usas Quizlet. Bien? No es difícil, it only takes time. Now, with these Pasos lessons, you can learn from Pasos on your own, of course you can. But I think that guidance is useful. The program is a good program. I can give you a weekly email to just build a little bit of relationship so that I can support your learning. It's easier to do with another human being. Okay, and I can be that human being for you. We can steam through last classes and then you've got them forever so you can repeat. Have a look at the next lesson, which is 2A. It's talking about food and through chapter 2 it's all about food and personal information. So this is about eating and making friends. If they are important to you, then you need to go on and start with Unit 2. You have a lot of work to do. Please contact me if you have any questions. It is a pleasure to teach you the información en Pasos. So I hope it's a pleasure for you too. And I'll see you soon. Hasta pronto. Adiós.